Hello students, welcome back to my channel. As in the previous basic first video of this chapter, I have told you some basic and then we have started with the classification of polymer, and the very important classification was first of all on the basis of their monomeric unit that we have seen. Okay, so let us proceed with the further classification. Polymers are further being classified on several bases. Okay, the most several bases, like first is they are classified on the basis of the source of availability, यानी कि कहाँ से लिए जा रहे हैं polymers. Okay, second on the basis of their structures, उनका interior structure कैसा है. थर्ड वन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मोड ऑफ सिंथेसिस, यानी कि किस तरीके से पॉलीमर्स को सिंथेसाइज किया जाता है. एंड द फोर्थ वन इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द मॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस, दैट मीन्स इन बिटवीन द मोनोमरिक यूनिट्स ऑफ द पॉलीमर्स विच टाइप ऑफ मॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस एग्जिस्ट. ओके, सो नाउ ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सोर्स ऑफ अवेलेबिलिटी दे आर बीइंग क्लासिफाइड इनटू फर्स्ट natural polymers, second synthetic polymers, and third one is semi synthetic. Okay, these are the three types on the basis of source of availability. On the basis of structure, linear polymers, branched polymers, and the third one is cross-linked polymers. Okay. Then on the basis of mode of synthesis, addition polymers and condensation polymers. Okay. And on the basis of molecular forces, they are fibers, thermosetting, thermoplastic, and elastomers. Okay, so these are the different types on the basis of which first of all they are classified, and further classification is also written over here. Now we are going to see one by one their definitions and examples in detail. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this. Let us see the first one, that is classification on the basis of source of availability. Okay, so as I told you that on the basis of source of availability they have been classified into natural, synthetic and semi-synthetic polymers. Now natural polymers are the polymers which are obtained from the nature, that is plants and animals. As examples, starch, cellulose, then proteins, nucleic acid, etc. ठीक है. Then this natural rubber, this is also a natural polymer. Now you see this starch, proteins, nucleic acid are also called as biopolymer because they help us in the growth. Okay, growth and development of our body. That's why they are also called as biopolymer. Rubber is not a biopolymer because rubber is not needed for our growth and maintenance of our body. But yeah, natural rubber, you know, it is obtained as it is a colloidal solution which is obtained from the rubber tree, latex of the rubber tree. Okay. Then synthetic. Synthetic polymers are man-made polymers. Okay, that is they are obtained in the laboratories. Fine. See the examples. PVC, we have seen the reaction also for that. Polyvinyl chloride, polyethylene also we have seen. Teflon, bakelite and synthetic rubber. The other ones we are going to see further in detail. Then semi-synthetic polymer. Now semi-synthetic polymer means actually their monomeric units are obtained naturally only, that is from nature, but certain modifications are done in the these natural units, so that is why we say semi-synthetic. ठीक है, नेचुरली ऑब्टेन किया जाता है, पर उनमें कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन करते हैं, इसलिए वो सेमी सिंथेटिक हो जाते हैं. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल सेल्यूलोज डाई एसीटेट. अब देखो जो सेल्यूलोज डाई एसीटेट है, सेल्यूलोज हमें पता है सेल्यूलोज क्या होता है, इट इज अ नेचुरली अकरिंग नेचुरल पॉलीमर. ठीक है. अब सेल्यूलोज व्हेन इट एसिटाइलेशन ऑफ सेल्यूलोज इज कैरीड विद एसिटिक एनहाइड्राइड. ओके. Acetylation of cellulose with acetic anhydride in presence of sulfuric acid, then we obtain this polymer cellulose diacetate. This is used for making glass, types of glasses, then films, threads, etc. Then a very common one is vulcanized rubber. Now you might be thinking क्या होता है ये. जो नेचुरल रबर है उसके अंदर कुछ सल्फर लिंक्स बनाए जाते हैं, उससे हमें ये वल्केनाइज्ड रबर मिलता है जो कि सेमी सिंथेटिक पॉलीमर है. वल्केनाइज्ड रबर वी आर गोइंग टू सी इन डिटेल फर्दर इन दिस चैप्टर इटसेल्फ. ओके. होप इट इज क्लियर टू यू. Examples are very important because in your board exam sometimes directly examples are asked. Okay, like Teflon is which type of polymer on the basis of source, like this. So you need to know the examples clearly. Okay. Next is on the basis of structure. Now on the basis of structure, three are there: linear polymers, branch chain polymers and cross-linked polymers. First let us see linear and branch chain polymer. Now in linear polymers, the monomeric units are linked together to form long or linear chains. Okay. Now see, because they will have linear chains, see for example, this is one monomeric unit. The monomeric units will be linked together like this. Okay, to form straight long chains. Fine. So they will be well packed, they will have high densities. Their densities, because the units are closely packed, so density will be high. Then high tensile strength will be there. Tensile strength is the pulling capacity. And therefore because they are well packed, high density, so they will be having high MP, that is melting point as well. The example for this is HDP, that is high density polythene. We are going to see in detail. PVC, polyesters and nylons. This we have already seen. HDP, polyesters and nylons we will be studying in detail further. Then branched polymers. Now branched polymers, here the monomeric units are linked together to form long chain with side chains or branches. Okay. Now because they have side chains and branches, see like this. For example, this is the monomeric unit and they are linking together. Abhi here some side chains and like this branches will be there of irregular length. Okay, such. So this is a branched polymer. Now it is irregularly packed due to the side change. So if it is irregularly packed, low density will be there, tensile strength will be less, and melting point will also be less. Example for this is LDP, low density polythene, glycogen, starch, etc. On the basis of structure, the third type of polymers are cross-linked polymers. Okay. Now these cross-linked polymers, in them the monomeric units are linked in such a way that they form cross links with each other, and hence a three-dimensional network is obtained. Okay. Monomeric units will form cross links, and so what we'll obtain? A three-dimensional network. Now due to this three-dimensional network or extensive cross-linking, these cross-link polymers are hard, they are rigid and brittle. Fine. Then the examples for such polymers are bakelite. These all non-stick wares, handles, these black handles are there. They all are made up of bakelite only. Melamine, formaldehyde polymer, etc. This we'll study further. So hence we have seen on the basis of structure, three types are there. One was linear polymer, branched polymer and the cross-linked polymer. Now see, most of the applications of these polymers, they depend upon the mechanical properties of polymers. Now mechanical properties of polymers means, that is like their tensile strength, toughness, elasticity, etc. Okay. So the applications of polymer depend upon what? Mechanical properties. And in turn, these mechanical properties, they depend upon the intermolecular forces between the monomeric units or in the polymers. Okay. So applications of polymers are dependent upon mechanical properties, and mechanical properties are dependent upon what? Upon the molecular forces in the polymers. Okay. So on the basis of this type of molecular forces, the polymers are further classified into 4 types. Okay. We have seen in the chart previously. Those 4 types are elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics and thermosettings. Fine. So let us see one by one in detail. First of all, elastomer. Now see, as the name suggests, elastomer, that means elastic unit. Okay. So any substance, any polymer which has this property of elasticity, or I can say which behaves like a rubber, okay, is called as elastomer. When I am saying any polymer which behaves like a rubber, that means we are using this word rubber in general for those substances which possess this elastic property. Okay. So any substance which has this elastic property or behaves like a rubber is said to be an elastomer. Okay. Now what is elasticity? All of you know, like a rubber band, isn't it? You all have seen rubber band. When you apply force, stress on it, it will change its shape, and when you release the force, then it will come back to its original shape. Okay. Now this property of elasticity in elastomer is due to what? It is due to the weak intermolecular forces. Okay. So in elastomer, the intermolecular force IMF is weakest. Okay. Because of which it will possess an elastic character. Fine. Now there are different examples for that. One of the very common example is natural rubber. Fine. Natural rubber, it is rubber only, but it is obtained naturally. That's why it's called as natural rubber, from the latex of the rubber tree. Then buna and neoprene, etc. They are also sort of rubbers only. That is, they possess elastic property, but they are synthetic rubber. Okay. Synthetic rubber means they are man-made. Fine. Now, if you remember, in the previous video I told you one in example of semi-synthetic polymers. I gave you one example, vulcanized rubber. Okay. What is that? Briefly I am telling you. See, natural rubber has elasticity, but there is one disadvantage of natural rubber, that is, many a times it does not comes back or regains its original shape after removal of the force. Okay. And therefore it is brittle. That is what I can say, natural rubber. And therefore in this some crosslinks are introduced, sulfur crosslinks. We are going to see in detail this further, but just now understand, natural rubber is natural origin. Okay, it has some disadvantage, so some sulfur crosslinks are added to this natural rubber, which is known as vulcanized rubber. And vulcanized rubber is which type of rubber? Semi-synthetic rubber. Okay, and these 3 are also type of rubbers only. They come under the category of elastomer, but they are synthetic rubbers. Okay, synthetic means totally man-made. Fine. Now let us come to the second one, that is fibers. Now fibers means these polymers are long, thin, thread-like. Okay, like these polymers are elastic in nature due to weak IMF, and these are strong. They have strong IMF, that is intermolecular force. Okay, fibers, they consist of strong intermolecular forces, because of which they are thread-like. Okay, thin, thread-like, long polymers. Fine. Now which type of intermolecular forces are present? Hydrogen bonds, dipole-dipole interactions. This dipole-dipole you have studied in class 11th, isn't it? So these are the strong intermolecular forces present in the fibers. Then due to these strong forces, the polymeric chains are closely packed, and hence they impart a crystalline structure. Again, due to strong IMF, they will have high tensile strength, pulling capacity, less elasticity. Okay, they are not elastic as such. Fine. The examples for fibers are nylon 66, terylene, etc. Nylon 66 we have seen. Remember what were the monomeric units? Hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. Okay, and terylene, etc. Terylene we will see further. Now see, the next third type of polymer on the basis of molecular force is thermoplastic. As the word suggests, thermo, that means upon heating what changes occur. Okay, so in case of thermoplastic, they have a very important property, that is upon heating they will get softened easily. Okay, they can be repeatedly softened upon heating, and on cooling they can be hardened. Okay, this is a very important property because of which they can be reused again and again. Okay, now why this property exists? Because the intermolecular forces in thermoplastics are intermediate between elastomers and fibers. Fine, the intermolecular forces are intermediate between elastomers and fibers. Okay, they do not form any cross linking between the chains, and hence they can be repeatedly softened. Fine, and you know examples, for example polythene. See, we have written the examples: polythene, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, which is used in pipes and all, Teflon, etc. Now this polythene and all, you know, the buckets, the toys, etc., whatever polythene materials we are getting, the normal poly bags, etc., they are reusable. Okay, recyclable. Because of the same property, they are recyclable. They can be means when you are heating, they get softened and become fluid like soften हो जाते, fluid जैसे हो जाते, and then they can be cast into desired shapes. Fine, therefore this property is very important, due to which it can be recycled. The other one, that is thermosetting. Again, it is depending upon the heat. On heating they set, okay, into an infusible mass. Fine, that is why it's thermosetting. So when you heat such type of polymers, they undergo a permanent change. You might have seen these plugs and all, isn't it? Switches, etc. The material of which these switches and all are made up of, if you heat them, you see they form an infusible different type of substance mass. Okay, then they undergo extensive cross linking on heating. And why this happens? They form infusible mass because when you heat them, they undergo extensive cross linking, okay, and form infusible mass, so they cannot be reused again. The example for them are bakelite, melamine formaldehyde resin, etc. So depending upon the molecular forces, on the basis of molecular forces, 4 types: elastomer, fiber, thermoplastic and thermosetting. Now, the fourth type of classification is on the basis of mode of synthesis. That is how the particular polymer is formed, okay, chemically. So, on the basis of mode of synthesis, there are 2 types of polymer. One is addition polymer and the other one is condensation polymer. Let us see addition polymers first of all. Now, as the name suggests, addition polymer, that means what? The monomeric units are simply getting added up. Okay. Now, over here, see what are the main criteria for addition polymer. First, direct addition of repeated monomer is occurring. Okay, that is the monomeric unit are directly getting added up. Fine, so many n number of monomeric units will get added up. Okay. Second is no elimination of byproduct. When, as I told, that direct addition is happening. So when direct addition of monomeric units is occurring, so no elimination is there. That is any sort of byproduct like HCl, H2O, alcohol, etc. No, it is not getting eliminated. Okay. Then a very important point, the monomers or the monomeric unit should be unsaturated compound. If you remember, addition reactions are the characteristic reactions of unsaturated compound. So, addition reactions will be given by those monomers only which are unsaturated compound, that is they have double or triple bond. Okay. Now, let me give you some examples for that. Now see, if first example I am giving you for addition homopolymers, okay. Homopolymers are the polymers in which same type of monomeric unit is there. See, there are many examples: PVC, polyethylene, then Teflon, etc. See, these first two we have already done. What is the monomeric unit of PVC? Polyvinyl chloride, vinyl chloride. Remember, for polyethylene, it is ethene. N number of ethene units are combining. Let us see for Teflon. Okay, I'll give you the reaction for Teflon now. See, Teflon, it is CF2 double bond CF2. N number of CF2 double bond CF2. The name for this is tetrafluoroethene. N number of tetrafluoroethene units are getting polymerized to give. Now see, it will, the pi bond will get cleaved, okay, and from the carbon atoms will bind on both the sides, and such a structure we will obtain. Okay, this is known as Teflon. Fine. So you can see here addition is occurring. Now let us see all the criteria. Direct addition of repeated monomers. N number of this tetrafluoroethene units are directly getting added up. Okay. And you can see when the polymerization is occurring, only the pi bond is getting cleaved off, but no elimination of byproduct is happening. Okay. Then the monomeric units are monomers are unsaturated compound. Is it clear? Fine. So this is a addition polymer. Why I called it as addition homopolymer? Because here only single type of monomeric units are combining together to give the final polymer. That's why. Okay. But in case of addition polymers, that is addition reaction or addition polymers can also be formed by combination of two or different monomeric units as well. So let us see one example for that also. If there are two or more units, monomeric units, then they will be called as addition copolymers. Okay. The example for that, one example, let us take it, Buna S. This name we have seen earlier also. Now we'll see the reaction. Now here Buna stands for 1,3-butadiene. Okay. This is 1,3-butadiene structure. Buna stands for 1,3-butadiene. S stands for styrene. Styrene is this. Okay. So these are the two monomeric units of Buna S. Now let us see how it polymerizes and what structure is forming. I am drawing the structure here. See, first of all, the pi bonds of 1,3-butadiene will cleave off. So it will be CH2 single bond CH. Now in order to complete the valency between 1 and 2, this 2 and 3 carbon, a double bond will occur. Okay, this carbon pi bond is cleaved off, so it is bonding over here. Here also this fourth carbon pi bond is cleaved off here, so it is bonding over here. Okay, one second. So it will bond here. Now it will bond with this CH2. This pi bond will also get cleaved off. CH, C6H5 will come as a branch. Okay, and such a structure will be obtained for Buna S. Now you tell me, here again you can see direct addition of monomeric units is occurring. Okay, these two monomeric units are getting added up directly, repeatedly. No byproduct is eliminated and the monomeric units are unsaturated compound. So this is also addition polymer because there are two different monomeric units, so it is also called as the copolymer. Based on mode of synthesis, the second one is condensation polymer. Now condensation polymer, here the condensation of monomeric units will occur. Find simple condensation of two or more monomeric units. Here because condensation is occurring, so elimination of byproducts will also be there, like alcohol, HCl, H2O, these simple byproducts can be eliminated, will be eliminated I shall say. Then monomers, they have different bifunctional or trifunctional groups. That is, bifunctional means the monomeric unit can have two or more different functional groups. Okay, they can be bifunctional. That means they can have two functional groups. Trifunctional, or that is three functional group. And these functional groups, only when they combine, they eliminate the byproduct. Okay. The example is nylon 6,6, steriline, bakelite, etc. See, we have seen this nylon 6,6. Remember hexamethylene diamine, that is CH2 hexamethylene. It has NH2, 2 NH2 group, bifunctional it was. Adipic acid was also bifunctional only. Remember when they were combining, from NH to H was eliminated and from COH, OH. So in overall, when one adipic acid and one hexamethylene unit was combining, one H2O molecule was eliminated. Okay. This we will see in detail. Further, their reactions we are going to see further. Fine. So we have seen the classification on all the bases. In the intro video, I told you on the basis of monomer, then on the different bases like source, structure, molecular forces, and then the mode of synthesis. Okay, we have seen all the different type of classification. So that was all about the classification of polymer. Next, we will be seeing the type of polymerization reaction. Stay tuned.